Hey everyone, welcome to the fourth devlog for an RTS game that I'm developing for mobile. I've decided to go for shorter devlogs from now on, where rather than going through the full process of any changes I make, I'll only be focusing on the changes and updates and possibly discussing the justification for those changes. And to begin with, one thing that is immediately apparent is I've made some major changes to the look and feel of the game. One reason for that is, as mentioned previously, I did not like the way the terrain and my model assets contrasted. For example, the model assets that I'm using had a cartoonish look, whereas the terrain system that I was generating was based on realistic textures. So there was a bit of contrast there. It didn't look nice, so I decided to match my terrains and also have this nice cartoonish look that I also wanted to go for eventually. I achieved this look using an unlit toon shader and some changes to the light and light intensity. Sorry. Um, and this is what it looks like now. Um, and Another change that I made with this new look is I've reduced the size of the battlegrounds. Now, unlike previous setup where I had a camera controller and the player could pan and zoom through and view the whole battleground, I got rid of the camera controller and reduced the size of the battleground. This simplified the process a bit because now I don't have to worry about, neither the player has to worry about different pan and zoom options while using a touchscreen. Remember, this is focusing mobile, so I won't have the scroll wheel to zoom. So I had to set up all these different ways to change the look. So simplifying that, I got rid of the camera controller, reduced the size of the battleground, and this works well for a mobile game because since the focus is on short skirmishes between countries or between factions, I would rather have a unit travel quickly to the other side rather than wait ages after deploying the unit for it to reach the enemy or the player base. Right. Another change I made is a minor change is to the UI. Now I got rid of the flags here for now. I plan on adding them later on. But currently, rather than radial health bars, I have now horizontal fill bars. The character selection panel is there, but now we have a additional row to it which shows the cost of each character. I also changed how characters are deployed onto the battleground. So previously, you would select your character from the character selection panel and then click on anywhere on the battleground. Where the user would click, that character would be deployed. This made sense for when using a mouse, but not so much on a touchscreen. On a touchscreen, it made more sense to have a drag mechanism to drag the character onto the battleground. So I implemented the drag mechanism, and you can now drag your character from the UI onto the battleground, and where you release the drag, the character would be deployed. In addition to that, this is more of a game balancing factor so that you don't spam characters onto the battleground. When you deploy a character, a timer, a 5-second for now, a 5-second timer activates where it prevents you from spamming characters onto the battleground. So yeah, that's the drag deploy implemented. I then made a small improvement to the death animation of the characters. So what happens now is I'll try to deploy a character and show it in game. Hopefully the enemy will spawn a character now anytime soon, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. I also implemented health bars, which was a nice and necessary indication of how long an individual battle lasts. So similarly to previously, the corpse slowly goes into the ground, and in its place comes out a small little tombstone. It's a bit morbid, but I wanted to give a feel of a battleground in this way. For example, if the battle goes on for long enough, you'll have quite a lot of these popping up in your battleground. So that's a small minor change to the death animation. And finally, I deployed these machine gun turrets as the necessary base defense. These turrets can be unlocked later in the game and possibly upgraded as well after I implement an upgrade system. So now with these base defenses or turrets, it's not as easy to win a battle by just rushing the base with just 3 or 4 units. You would need to carefully think of to which units to deploy into the battleground, and rely on short range and long range units to win a battle. One additional note I would like to share is that I've decided to give a name to this project of mine. I've decided to name this Border Wars, as the campaign would involve short border skirmishes between neighboring countries, and the focus would be on defending and or capturing regions of a country. And that's all the updates I have for this devlog. Thanks a lot for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think of the changes I made in this one, and hope to catch you in the next one.